Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Head, and hopefully like this video and hit that subscribe button. Just before we end this video, I need you to hit the join button. It's a way to support the channel and give you more entertainment value for you. But I want to talk to you about something that sort of popped up after the Met game. I guess there's this little interview. I saw about a 30-second interview with Pete Alonso, and there was nothing really negative that was said in the comment. But I like to go where the wind blows. I like to read the tea leaves. I like to be able to tell you what I think, especially when something is as important as the future of Pete Alonso with the Mets. And I do not have a good feeling now. For the longest time, I thought that Pete was going to sign with the Mets in the offseason. But just the field of what I see from him, the fact that the manager batted him fifth in the lineup, which is not a major thing, but he has not hit well with men in scoring position. I personally have seen a decline in his game offensively. I've talked about this several times. If you watch my videos on Pete Alonso, whenever his name has come up, even in a mild way, I've seen a decline in his game offensively. And we've seen it over the last year. Really it started in September 2022. That's where the decline really began to start. Now, he is not a high average hitter. And because he's not a high average hitter, that average is going to really look lousy when it takes a dip. Now, just looking at it and just, I'm not going to go over the whole thing again about the bat speed and all that. But just looking at the body language of Pete, you could tell he's very frustrated due to the fact that he's not hitting well. You can see the fact that the team has struggled a little bit since the All-Star break, specifically with runners in scoring position. I get a feeling that I don't think he's going to be here next year. I have a friend, and he's a big Mets fan. We grew up together, and we talk a lot lately. And he agrees with me. He doesn't think that Pete's going to be here either next year. That he'll be on another team, maybe the Cubs, maybe the Brewers, maybe the Yankees, maybe the Padres, excuse me. But I don't think, and my friend doesn't think, that he's going to be with the Mets. And seeing what his body language was, and just seeing his body language in the dugout, his body language on the field, I don't think he's going to be here. Okay? And I want him to be here, but the production has taken a decline. And the fact of the matter is, he is not doing what he's supposed to do, and that's driving runs. That's the number one thing he has to do, is driving runs when the Mets need him to do that. He is so far behind his averages in terms of his career. Right now he's on pace for 31 home runs, 32 home runs, whatever it is. He should be at 40. That should be his pace. RBI total, which is more important, is around 85, that where he'll be finishing at. It should be 110, 115. And the fact that he's so far behind is very concerning to me. Now, before the trading deadline, one of the things I was hoping the Mets could do was bring in a veteran player that was a better hitter than Jesse Winker, a guy that was an everyday player that they could have plugged in the outfield, that could produce those kind of home runs that the Mets needed and those runs batted in. They did not do that. And you've seen a little bit of this being an issue. But it's more about picking up the slack from Pete. We're going into this situation believing we're going to get 40 home runs and 110 RBIs out of Pete Alonso. It is woefully behind his average. So I thought that the Mets would be best off to get another hitter in here that has the ability to do that. They didn't do that. I don't know if they think that Pete's going to be able to pick it up. Now, his second half has not been bad, if you look at the surface of his numbers. But his batting averages, he's hitting under 200 of runners in scoring position this year. That is not good. That's terrible. So in pressure situations which he used to thrive in has gone into a decline. And the one thing I've noticed too is he's hitting a lot of solo home runs. That is another thing, another tell that something's up with him as a hitter. We saw that a lot with David Wright. David Wright did a lot of that, was hitting a lot of solo home runs and wasn't driving the ball out of the ballpark when men were on base. So that's another thing we need to sort of watch too over the next 2 months. Hopefully the production increases because if he's just here's the thing. He has not gotten hot. It's the weirdest thing about his year. He's not had a hot streak. A real hot streak that we've seen him get in terms of the power, in terms of driving the runs in. And this is a guy that can drive in 10 runs in 2-3 games. He hasn't been doing that. And to me, the batting average is not a big deal. The home run's not a big deal. It's that runs batted in, because that means he's not producing when he's supposed to. And this, like I said, this was a kid that was able to hit home runs late in the game, in the 7th inning or later. And he had one of the biggest home runs of the year at the very beginning of the year, in the 6th game of the season. When the Mets were going to look like they were going to lose 6 games, he won that game in the 9th inning on that big home run he hit against the Tigers. So, just looking at it, following the team as long as I have, seeing a lot of players come and go, reading his body language. And this is not something that the team has said. They said they weren't going to move Pete. That was pretty well known they weren't going to do that, because you take him out of the lineup and that's a big hole, and you got to be able to cover the batting and the home runs and the runs batted in and the OPS and all that. There was no way they could cover that. So in all likelihood, he's not going to be here next year. I think in the offseason, the worst that would be was they'll offer him some kind of contract. He will probably turn it down. They're not going to give him a lot of years. They're not going to give him the big money that he was probably hoping to get. If he doesn't accept any kind of contract, they'll tender him a contract. If he turns it down, then let's get a draft pick for him. And that's about it. His market is going to be very interesting because he is not as great of a player as Paul Goldschmidt was. And that's really the comp. He's not nearly as good as Freddie Freeman. He is a big home run hitter. He's a home run hitter that has the potential to hit 400, 500 home runs in his career. But the reality is, just based on what we've seen now so far, and based on the last, really since 2 years, his production has taken such a drop that it doesn't pay to give him top dollar. And the fact that and you can see the precious ball in him. That's another aspect to keep into consideration. Well, I tell you like it is. I tell you what I think, and but like I said, his body language is telling me that he does not think he's coming back. And just looking at it in an honest way, the Mets did the right thing by not moving him. They did the right thing not getting rid of him. They're still going to get good numbers out of him, but they're not his good numbers. You don't get home run hitters that hit 30 home runs at first base. Now, what happens in the offseason? Not going to worry about that right now. The most important thing right now is winning the wild card. Winning one of these wild cards and getting the postseason. Then we'll figure it out after that. Or the Mets will figure it out. I don't have to figure out anything. I just got to do my videos and BS with you. But I just wanted to get this video out because there's no controversy in what Pete said in that video. There's nothing. It's just what Pete does. Pete's very positive. Him talking about making the All-Star team wasn't a big deal. None of what he said was selfish. It wasn't anything like that. I didn't take it as such, but the body language told me more than what he said. And the body language told me that he doesn't expect to be back here. And I don't expect him to be back here now either. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hub. We have memberships here. It's a great way to support the channel. Really want to do some different things here to have a lot more fun here, especially on the live streams. And of course, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hub, and I'll see you later.